Today we are going to talk about some multiple choice questions. Okay, so that is the DSE type multiple choice questions about the equations of straight lines. Okay， 嗱，年年都問嘅，有時會簡單，有時我覺得都幾複雜。唔係複雜，應該話好花時間嘅。OK， 好花時間嘅啊，有啲題目。所以我哋，但係咧，即係我啱啱今日去到即係備課嘅時候咧，發現全部你只要即係用同一種嘅模式去到諗嘅話咧，其實就可以解答到所有曾經出現過嘅 DSE 嘅問題㗎啦。OK， 得唔得？咁樣所以咧，一啲都唔難，一啲都唔複雜，不過咧係幾煩嘅呢一種嘅題目。但係咧，如果你即係留心啲望望嘅話咧，其實由2012年至到2019年啊 ，OK 呢8年嘅 DSE 裏邊咧，有7年係出咗嘅 ，OK 有7年係出咗呢一題嘅。咁呢一題咧嗱都係啊，我覺得呢一題咧算係難嘅題目，即係 MC 嚟講算係難嘅題目嚟嘅。即係如果你識做嘅話咧，你應該係攞 Level 4或者5甚至乎以上㗎啦。得唔得？即係如果目標係攞 Level 2、3嗰啲堂嘅話咧，我會覺得佢唔應該去到花時間做呢題，因為咧好花時間嘅其實。OK， 但係如果你目標係攞 Level 4或者以上嘅話咧，你要學呢一個。呢個咧並唔係真係唔係十分難嘅，但係咧有少少抽象嘅，你開始學嘅時候。OK， 好啦，咁我希望可以盡量講得多啲啊，今日啊。Okay, so I would like you to go to the MetApp web system and then log in, and then please log in and select the classwork today. Okay, classwork today. So remember the username will be your student number, and then password will be LKL plus student number. Okay, and classwork of today, the latest classwork. Okay, so all the classwork today can be found in the DSE MC. Okay, DSE MC. Okay, for example, the question 1 is actually year 2019, question number 23. OK， 好嗱，咁我開始講啦噃，開始講啊。呢種咁嘅題目咧，佢會俾咗一條線或者兩條直線你。然之後咧，俾咗條 equation of straight line 你，但係當中會有好多 unknowns 嘅 ，OK？ 咁然之後咧，佢未必會叫你計嗰個 unknowns 出嚟喎，佢每次都係叫你計究竟嗰啲 unknowns 係大過0啊、細過0啊、大過1啊、細過1啊、大過一個數字啊，去到比較嘅，或者兩個 unknowns 去比較嘅。然之後咧問你 statement 1係 true，statement 2係 true，statement 3係 true， 年都係咁樣嘅 ，OK？ 呢一個題型係冇變化嘅。變化嘅只不過係有陣時會係出一條線，有時會係出兩條線。兩條線嘅話咧，就更加花時間咁樣。OK， 我哋先做兩條題目係只係得一條線嘅先啊。OK， so let's go to the first question. So there is only one straight line in this question, and I'm going to teach you how to handle this type of problems. Okay, so in the figure, the equation of the straight line L is ax plus by plus 15 is equal to 0. Which of the following are true? Okay? 好，以下邊一個係啱嘅，你唔好理佢嗰 statement 1, 2, 3先。基本上我哋做呢種題目一定咧就係將呢一個嘅直線去到揾翻啊 x intercept， 揾翻 y intercept。Okay? So we are going to calculate the x intercept and the y intercept from the equation. And then we will find the corresponding information from the graph. 我哋要由嗰條式裏邊去到計翻個 x、y intercept 先，即係咁樣。For x intercept, we will put y equals 0, and then x will be equal to negative 15 over 8. It's okay. This is the x intercept. This is x intercept. Is to put y equals 0, x is equal to negative 15 over 8. 好啦，嗱呢度小心啲喎。And then we are going to find the x intercept of this straight line from the graph. Okay, the x intercept is the position, the location where the straight line cut the x-axis. That is this position. And then this is negative 15 over A, right? OK， 好啦，嗱呢度咧，我哋第一樣諗到咧，可能係呢個負15 over A 咧係大過5嘅，係咪？喺5嘅右手邊。不過啊，要留意啦，呢個係打星位嚟嘅。OK， 我哋要先諗到個 A 係大過0定係細過0先。We need to determine whether A is larger than 0 or smaller than 0 first. Okay, we are going to compare with 0. Okay, this point is on the right of the y-axis. It should be larger than 0. 嗱，呢個留意啦。Negative 15 over A should be larger than 0, right? Okay, and then negative 15 over A is a fraction. It's a fraction. And the upper part is negative. And I want the result to be larger than 0. So what is the conclusion about the values of A? Should it be positive number or be a negative number such that the results of the fraction is larger than 0?
Negative.
呢度記唔記得我講啲咩嘢？就係咧，我哋而家想係啦，我哋想諗下究竟個 A 要點樣去配合個負15，先至可以令到成個分數咧係大過0嘅，係咪 ？OK， 咁係應該個 A 係大過0定細過0啊？要係 should be negative, right? Okay, because double negative will give the result to be larger than 0. 好啦，所以我哋第一樣嘢咧。可以定到出嚟嘅咧就係 A is negative, which means that A should be less than 0. OK？ 嗱呢個留意喎，如果你冇做呢一個 step 嘅話咧，陣間我哋係計唔到落去嘅。OK？ 點解計唔到落去咧？因為我哋陣間咧要同其實咧嗱題目咧，佢個 A 咧，你見到個 A 咧係同個咩比嘅咧？同個負3比嘅。佢唔係同個0去比嘅，係嘛？佢唔係同個0去比嘅。咁點解會同個負3比咧？睇住喎，因為咧我哋知道 the x-intercept is on the right-hand side of the position 5, which means that negative 15 over A should be larger than 5. It's okay？ 我哋同個0比完之後，揾到個 A。應該要係負數嚟㗎啦，然之後咧就真正要去答題咯噃，然之後我哋將個 x-intercept 係同個5去比，呢個 x-intercept 咧係喺5嘅右手邊嘅，咁亦即係話咧佢嘅數值應該係大過5啦。OK， 好啦，呢一個位就係點解需要我哋計咗個 A 係細過0出嚟先嘅？因為呢條係一條不等式嚟嘅，而家呢條話講緊啊 ，OK。This is an inequality, and we are going to multiply the A to the right-hand side of this inequality. But in Form 3, you have learned that when you multiply a negative number to the opposite side of the inequality, you need to change the inequality sign, okay? You need to swap the direction of the inequality sign, right? So we need to make sure the number we are multiplying to the opposite side, whether it is positive number or negative number, before we can really multiply to the opposite side. 我哋喺一條不等式裏邊，將一個數字，特別係未知數啊，要乘過去不等式嘅對面或者除過去對面嘅時候咧，我哋一定要去到確保到我哋清楚知道佢係一個正數定係一個負數先嘅。OK， 因為如果佢係負數嘅話咧，我哋就需要將個不等式符號咧調轉佢嘅。所以我喺呢一個位咧，一定要計咗個 A 係細過0出嚟先。而呢一度咧，當我 when I am going to multiply the A to the right-hand side, because A is a negative number, so the right-hand side is 5 times A, right? But A is a negative number, so I need to swap the inequality sign here, okay? And then I divide the 5 to the left-hand side. So negative 15 over 5 is less than 8. 5 is a positive number this time, so I do not need to change the inequality sign again. So negative 3 is less than 8, which means that A should be larger than negative 3, okay? A is larger than negative 3, which means that statement 2 is correct. Statement 2 is correct, okay? 好，呢度想你即刻俾個反應我。呢個位如果明白嘅，可唔可以俾個 like 或者俾個 clap 我？嗱，呢個緊要啊，呢個非常非常之緊要嘅。如果 if you understand how I get the A is larger than negative 3, please give me a like or a clap. If you do not understand any step, please raise your hand. If you need me to repeat any step, please raise your hand. 有冇同學需要講多次呢度？ OK， 好。嗱，其實我係可以講多次嘅，不過我今次咧講喺個 y-intercept 嗰度啦。OK， 一樣嘅啫，完全一樣啊。So I'm going to talk about y-intercept. Okay, so let me clear part of the board first. Okay. For the y-intercept, we need to put x to be 0. Okay, x to be 0, and then we'll find that y is equal to negative 15 over b. Negative 15 over b, and the y-intercept on the graph. 好啦，我哋喺條式嗰度計完之後咧，我哋就要喺個 graph 嗰度咧去到揾佢相關資料啦。So where is the y-intercept? It should be here. It should be negative 15 over b, right? And this time it is above the x-axis, which means that the negative 15 over b should be larger than 0. Okay, larger than 0. And for this fraction, the upper part is a negative number. So what should b be? Such that it is the result of this fraction should be larger than 0. It should also be negative, right? 得唔得？即係個分子係負數，我要個結果出嚟係大過0，即係正數嘅。咁個分母應該要點樣配合，先可以配合到分子呢個負數出嚟個結果係正數咧？咁咪要係負數咯，分母都係嘛 ？OK， 因為負先可以得翻正噶嘛。OK， 呢度 get 到我嗬？好啦 ，which means that b should be less than 0. Okay, and then we are going to compare with the 3. Okay, the given number 3. Okay, the y-intercept of this straight line is below the level 3, which means that it should be less than 3. Okay, and again we have this inequality, and we have to multiply the b to the right hand side. The b is a negative number, so when I multiply the b to the right hand side to make it to be 3b, then we need to swap the inequality sign. Okay, and then we divide the 3 to the left hand side. 3 is positive, so we do not need to swap again. So negative 5 is larger than b, which means that b should be less than negative 5. Okay, which means that statement 3 is not correct. Statement 3 is not correct. Okay, statement 2 is correct, but statement 3 is not correct. It's okay up to here. And then 好啦，嗱跟住咧咁好簡單咯喎。咁我哋點樣同A 同埋 B 去比較咧 ？A 係大過負3 ，B 係細過負5。但係我哋知道咧 ，we know that negative 5 is less than negative 3, right? Okay, maybe I write here. So I'm going to check whether statement 1 is correct. We know that negative 5 is less than negative 3, right? Okay, but we know that B is less than negative 5 and A is larger than negative 3, which means that it is like this. Negative 3 is less than A. but -5 is also less than -3. So we are arranging these four numbers in ascending order, right? B should be the smallest among the four numbers. And then the next one should be -5. And then the next one should be -3. And A should be larger than -3 and should be the largest number among the four numbers, which means that we can conclude that B should be less than A, or A is larger than B. Okay, which means that statement 1 is also correct. Okay, statement 1 is correct. Statement 2 is correct. And statement 3 is not correct. Okay, and that is how we can find the answer. It should be 1 and 2 only. That is option A. It's okay. 好，呢度再俾多個反應我得唔得 ？Okay, if you're okay for this question, okay, please give me a like or a clap. 如果你呢一題係完全 OK 嘅，俾個 clap 或者俾個 like 我得唔得？如果任何一個 step 想講多次嘅，請你舉舉手。If you want me to repeat any step, please raise your hand or in the chat room. Tell me in the chat room. 嗱緊要啊！呢個咧，你需要明咗佢，然之後咧做熟咗佢。呢啲位呢一題啊，佢一定會出㗎啦，你一定會 expect 佢出㗎啦，得唔得 ？DSE 一定會出嘅 ，OK， 每年都會出嘅，得唔得？係你要做熟咗佢，然之後喺呢度咧偷翻啲時間 ，OK， 偷翻啲時間，得唔得？因為其他人咧，如果唔熟嘅同學咧，一定會花好多時間嘅。你喺呢度咧，一定要係攞翻啲時間嘅。Okay, so some of your classmates asked me to explain statement 1 again. Okay, we have this already, right? And then we have this already. A is larger than -3, and B is less than -5. When you just draw -5 and -3 on the x-axis, okay? So A is somewhere here. A is larger than -3. Okay, I don't know whether it is still negative, right? But it is larger than -3. So it should be on the right-hand side of -3. And then B is less than -5. B is less than -5. So B should be on the left-hand side of -5. Okay? So when I arrange the four numbers on the same number line, the order should be something like this. Okay, and then the statement 1, for statement 1, we just need to compare A and B. So we just hide the -5 and -3. Okay, and then A is on the right-hand side of B, which means that A should be larger than B. Okay, A should be larger. A should be larger than B. Okay, that is how we can get the statement 1, which should be true. It's okay? 好，得唔得呢度？好嗱，如果得嘅話，我哋睇多題先啊，好嘛？我哋做多幾題就會熟少少嘅。OK，我想做一個咧就係嗱，我哋唔好順住做啊 ，sorry 啊，今次我哋唔順住做。睇下先。如果冇記錯咧，應該係第六條係啦，即係2013年嗰條嚟嘅。呢條都係得一條直線嘅啫。我哋做咗呢條先啊。Okay, so let's do question number 6 first, which is from year 2013. Question number 14. Okay. 嗱，其他嗰啲就複雜啲嘅，我哋做一條線嘅先。As the figure shows the graph of the straight line x plus ay plus b equals 0. And again, which of the following are true? 咩啦？我哋要去到判斷究竟以下邊一個係啱嘅。咁我哋基本上咧，直線咧不外乎就係揾 x intercept、揾 y intercept。如果都唔夠嘅話咧，我哋就揾埋個 slope。如果都唔夠嘅話咧，有兩條直線嘅話咧，就揾埋個相交點，冇第五樣嘢㗎啦，得唔得 ？OK。 好啦，咁我哋咁樣咯。So x plus ay plus b is equal to 0. So let us find the x-intercept first. So put y equals 0, and then x will be equal to negative b. 好啦，我哋揾咗計咗出嚟，然之後喺個 graph 嗰度啦。So this should be x-intercept, right? Negative b. The negative b is on the right-hand side of 0, which means that negative b should be larger than 0. Okay? If negative b is larger than 0, which means that b itself should be less than 0. Can you get this? Okay? Which means that statement 2 is correct. Okay? 呢個應該冇大問題哦。好啦，跟住I want to find the y-intercept. Y-intercept. So put x equals 0, and sign y is equal to negative b over a. Negative b over a. And then from the graph, this is the y-intercept. And this is negative b over a, and this is below the x-axis. Below x-axis, which means that negative b over a should be less than 0. 好啦，如果分子同埋分母 ，OK， 或者如果係一個分數嘅話咧，我哋就要用翻頭先嗰個諗法咯，即係分子係正定係負嚟㗎？而家 b is negative. Negative b, the upper part is negative b. Negative b should be positive, okay? But I want the result of the fraction to be less than 0. So what should a be? Shall it be positive or negative such that the result of the fraction becomes negative? A 要點樣配合分子呢一個正數？先至可以出到呢個分數係細過0咧。咁講到咁應該都好明顯嘅啩。It should be negative, right? Okay, so a should be less than 0. A is less than 0, which means that statement 1 is also correct. Okay, statement 1 is also correct. 好啦，跟住仲有一個係點樣咧？嗱，我哋仲有啲咩資料喺幅圖上面未用嘅咧？係咪呢個-1啊？負1呢個位？呢個負1呢個位？就係同邊一個去比較咧？應該咁梗係同個 y-intercept 去比較啦，係嘛 ？y-intercept，OK？ Y-intercept is above the level of negative 1, which means that the negative b over a, the y-intercept, should be larger than negative 1. Is that okay? Because it's above negative 1. And now I need to multiply the a to the right-hand side. But remember that a is a negative number. A is a negative number. So when I multiply the a to the right-hand side, it becomes negative a. Then I need to change the inequality sign. Change the direction of the inequality sign. Is that okay? 因為 a 係負數嚟嘅 ，OK， 所以我將 a 乘過右手邊嗰個樣就變咗負1乘 a 啦，即係變咗負 a 啦。但係我知道我乘嗰一刻個 a 咧係 negative 嚟嘅噃，係嘛？咁所以咧我要將個不等式符號咧嘅方向改變咗啦。Okay, and then if negative b is less than negative a, which means that b should be larger than a, right? Or we can say that a is less than b. A is less than b. Okay, which means that statement 3 is also correct. Okay. So statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, all of them are correct, which means that the answer is option D. 好，呢題好似簡單直接啲嘅，係嘛 ？Okay, is that okay? Anyone not okay? Please raise your hand or you ask me in the chat room. Anyone need me to talk about any step again for this question? 有冇 ？If no, yes. Okay, good. Thank you. Good. Then I'm going to clear the board. 好啦，我哋去一題咧，兩條線㗎啦，兩條線就係麻煩啲。Let's go back to number 2. Number 2. 好嗱，多啲白色俾我寫字先啊。Number 2, in the figure, In the figure, the equations of straight lines L1 and L2 are 3x plus ay equals b, cx plus y plus equals d respectively. Which of the following is true? 好啦，嗱呢度咧咁樣樣 ，L1 就係 3x plus ay is equal to b, right? Okay, and then L2 is cx plus y is equal to d。基本上我哋都係揾晒佢啲 x、y intercept 出嚟先 ，OK？x、y intercept 嗱，如果兩條線嘅話咧，我哋揾埋個 slope 出嚟 ，OK？So x intercept I need to put y equals 0, and then x will be equal to b over 3, OK? Which means that this position is b over 3。咁我哋即刻咧睇埋究竟係大，即係有冇可以揾到係大過零細過零啦。So the x intercept of L1 is on the left-hand side of the y-axis, which means that the x-intercept should be less than 0. Is that okay? Which means that this 3 is positive, and then I want the result to be negative, which means that b should be negative. Okay, so b should be less than 0. Okay, and then for the y-intercept, I need to put x to be 0, and then y is equal to b over a, okay? And then this position will be b over a, and it is above the x-axis, which means that b over a should be larger than 0. But we have already found that b is less than 0. This is negative. Okay, so what should a be? Should also be negative, because double negative becomes positive, which means that a should be negative also. It's okay. And then for L2, I want to find the x-intercept, put y equals 0, and then x will be equal to d over c. 好，但係今次呢個咧，我哋未可以做到住嘅，因為咧今次有兩個未知數係嘛，我哋 c 同埋 d 都未知道住嘅。我哋揾咗個 y-intercept 出嚟先 ，OK？ So put x equal 0, y is equal to d, okay? Y is just equal to d, and from the diagram, this is the y-intercept d, okay? And d is above the x-axis, which means that d should be larger than 0, okay? And then we go back to the x-intercept. The x-intercept of L2 is here. This is d over c. And d over c should be less than 0, right? On the left-hand side of the y-axis. And now we have already found that d is positive. This is positive. And then c should be negative. Okay, in order to make the fraction to be less than 0. So c should be less than 0. Okay? 好，我哋揾咗 A、B、C、D 究竟係大過零定細過零啦？但係咧呢度 statement 1、2、3冇一個係問你就咁問你一個 A 大過零、B 大過零、C 大過零咁樣嘅喎，係嘛 ？OK， 好，咁我哋應該點算咧？我哋除咗同零去到比較之外咧，如果你有兩條線嘅話咧，兩條直線嘅話咧，我哋好多時都會將兩條直線嘅 x-intercept 去到比較，同埋將兩條直線嘅 y-intercept 去到比較嘅。Okay, so we are going to compare the x-intercepts of L1 and L2, and we are going to compare the y-intercepts of L1 and L2. Okay, so let's compare the x-intercept first. Okay, yes, x-intercept. X-intercept of L1 is b over 3, and x-intercept of L2 is d over c. But the x-intercept of L1 is on the right-hand side of L2, which means that x-intercept of L1 is larger. 嗱，記住喺 x 軸右手邊嗰點咧，就係大啲㗎啦，數值。OK， 無論佢係正數定係負數都好，總之右手邊兩點啊，右手邊個點個數值就係大過左手邊個點。咁樣 ，OK， 好啦，嗱，但係呢個小心啲啊！ 我哋又係要喺條不等式裏邊咧，將啲分母乘過去對面啦，係嘛？我哋將個3乘過去對面咧，冇問題嘅，3係正數嚟嘅 ，should be 3d over c. We do not need to change the inequality sign direction. But when we multiply the c to the left hand side, do you remember this? We have found that c is a negative number. C is less than 0. So when you multiply the c to the left hand side, it becomes this. But we need to change the inequality sign like this. So BC should be less than 3D, which means that statement 3 is correct. Is this okay? 嗱，呢個難啲咯，係嘛？因為咧，我哋喺每一條直線自己同0去到比較完，得出嗰啲未知數 A、B、C、D 未知數係正數定負數之後，我哋要將兩條線嘅某一啲特性咧，再去做比較嘅。好啦，比較完 x intercept 之後，就會比較 y intercept 咯。Y intercept of L1 is b over a. Okay, it's b over a. And then y intercept of L2 is d. Y intercept of L1 is higher than y intercept of L2, which means that b over a should be larger than d. Is that okay? The higher will be the larger the value. Okay? And then we need to multiply the a to the right-hand side. And again, we have already found that a should be less than 0. It is a negative number. So when I multiply the a to the right-hand side, I need to change the direction of the inequality sign. So b should be less than AD, which means that AD should be larger than b. Okay, AD should be larger than b, which means that statement 2 is not correct. It's okay? 得唔得？好啦，嗱，我哋比較完 x intercept， 比較完 y intercept 之後，仲有啲咩可以比較咧？比較埋個 slope 啦，要，即係因為我哋仲未計完啊嘛，我仲未知道statement 1係啱唔啱嘅，係咪？好啦，咁我哋睇埋個 slope 喎，我哋去翻右手邊呢一度啊。the slope 咁就係你記得啊，即係應該係將 y 轉做 subject， 然之後咧楞住 x 個數就係個 slope 嚟㗎啦。Okay, so m1 is equal to negative 3 over a, and then m2 should be negative c. Is that okay? The slope of L1 is negative 3 over a. Slope of L2 is negative c. And then going back to the graph， 嗱，記住喺 equation 裏邊揾咗啲資料出嚟 ，OK？ 跟住我哋喺嗰幅圖裏邊去到揾一啲資訊俾我哋做比較嘅。邊個嘅 slope， 邊條線嘅 slope 係大啲咧 ？L1 同埋 L2 嘅 slope 都係 positive 嘅，係咪 ？Positive slope。然之後咧 ，L1 係斜啲嘅 ，L1 is steeper than L2, which means that the slope of L1 should be larger than the slope of L2. Okay, that is M1 should be larger than M2. Okay, so negative 3 over A is larger than negative C. Is that okay? And then again, we multiply the A to the right-hand side, and A is negative number. So when I multiply the A, it becomes negative AC to the right-hand side, and then we need to change the inequality sign. Becomes less than here, and then 3 will be larger than AC, which means that AC will be less than 3. Okay, AC will be less than 3, which means that statement 1 is also correct. Okay, so we have statement 1 and statement 3 correct, which means that the answer is option D. Okay. 好，呢度俾個反應我點啦 ？If you are okay for this question, please give me a like or a clap, please. If you are not okay, please raise your hand or tell me in the chat room. If you are not okay, please raise your hand or tell me in the chat room. But if you are okay, please give me a like or clap. 得唔得？有冇同唔 OK？ 嗱，呢度我會再講埋其他嗰啲題目嘅之後啊。咁但係咧，應該聽日咧。就係你哋復課啦，咁就冇堂嘅，咁然之後就應該去到禮拜3嘅時候咧，我哋就會做一個 test 啦，係嘛？我會做一個 test， OK， 記得禮拜三啊，禮拜三會做 quiz， 淨係 chapter 2，OK，only chapter 2，OK。All right, so if you have no problems, then that will be the end of this lesson, and you may leave now. Goodbye.